here we are with Janicke and James in Oslo. Our first kind of podcast. We're gonna try out how it's gonna go. Yeah, let's go. David's gonna have the questions. He's better with reading than I am. I'm just gonna sit and enjoy today. And yeah,
we'll try and answer the best we can as well. I believe there's some stuff for Janicke, so I'm probably gonna be sitting here and listening too.
Yeah. So before tomorrow is gonna be the seminar, so probably you're gonna get a lot of those questions about what you eat, what you
what's your
clean,
split, bro?
And things like this. So we try to focus
How
on
many sets?
different stuff, especially how it is to be a couple and how you deal with some things and what's your point of view on life and things like this.
Of course.
So yeah, I think first of all we can start. It's like how all the story of you together begin, actually.
Janicke, do you want to explain?
Well, you can have my point of view and then your point of view.
That's gonna be.
Well, James obviously trained in this bodybuilding gym in Karlsholten.
Great gym.
A very good gym.
Opened in 1986, I believe, and it was called Pink's Gym. And the owner was a gentleman called Peter Pink, and his wife Patricia. So it's Pat and Peter Pink. So it's all the P's.
Yeah.
Yeah, he used to train there. I trained there from the age of, I think, about 15. So it would have been around 2004, 2005. And Janicke may resume with the years that she came.
Well, and then I started training there because I was going out with a guy that wanted to get into bodybuilding, and then the gym actually had a ladies section upstairs because it was a bodybuilding gym, so there's no girls training there. So I started training in the ladies section, and then I eventually ventured down into the main gym, and there was two girls there, Sarah and Sarah.
Sarah Williams, she actually competed and won the UK BFF British finals in 2000 and what year was it? Oh, man, it was after me, wasn't it? Like after my 14 win.
No, I think it was the same year.
Maybe 2014, and then she just disappeared off the face of the planet, moved to Spain.
But she was a
really good bodybuilder.
Like female bodybuilder. She was so good.
Excellent. So, yeah, she was one of the women.
Yeah, but it was pure bodybuilding. Anyway, I started training downstairs. Obviously, I knew who James was because he was British champion. Everyone pays respect to the guys down there.
Junior British champion.
Junior British champion.
Teenage.
And you won the British in 2014 as well. And I remember congratulating you. I'd never spoken to him, but obviously I paid my respect and said congratulations. And then I think I trained in the main gym for like 3 years before we had our first conversation. I'd broken up with this dude I was seeing, and then we started a conversation over peanut butter.
She started a conversation over peanut butter.
Well,
I didn't actually even introduce. I didn't start the conversation at all. She did.
Yeah. So anyway, we started talking. I didn't understand a word of what James was saying.
So the peanut butter was the point.
Yes.
Yeah.
She literally went across the road to a shop and came back with a jar of peanut and sesame. I remember it was a mixed one because she was trying to say, look how good this is. So she brought it back into reception where we used to all like kind of hang around, kind of like this, you know.
Yeah.
Me and my friend Dino, who I used to train with, he was kind of like my uncle, a bit older than me. He was there as well, I believe.
Yeah.
And she came in and had this like conversation with us about this peanut butter.
But there must have been a conversation before that about food or peanut butter or something.
Yeah.
And then I was food shopping after training. I did get peanut butter, which was a bit fancy. And then I walked past the gym and walked back in because he was standing there still talking.
So she really wanted to show me her peanut butter. She left. She left, and my friend Dean looked at me and was like, "You got no chance." Because he knew what I was thinking, and I was like, "Watch me." And then I think I must have messaged Janicke one day on Facebook Messenger and just started having conversations on there, and that was really it. And that was around about 2016, wasn't it? Roughly
15.
End of because we so that's that. It was just
Yeah.
the gym. I see her in the gym.
And then because you were PTing in that gym as well.
Yeah.
So when I finished work, I would go straight to the gym after work, and James was PTing in there. And then we started training together sometimes. And obviously the guys that trained in that gym has been in that gym for 10 years, right?
Yeah.
And everyone knew who James was, and they knew I was this girl that didn't speak to anyone. I was there to train.
Never spoke to anyone.
Yeah, and all of a sudden we go in there together and we started training together. People were like, what the heck happened here?
Yeah.
I was like, what?
So yeah, it was a gym.
Yeah. So we actually met in the gym.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Good.
peanut butter.
And peanut
Yeah.
butter. It's very
The secret
important.
is showing me your nut bar.
And that's, what, 8 years ago?
8 years ago.
Yeah.
2015.
Well, it's
Or
nine,
15
nine,
leading
9
into
years.
16.
Yeah, 9 years now, really.
16, yeah.
So a long time ago.
Yeah.
Getting
Cool.
ancient.
And then you actually did consider leaving bodybuilding or like not doing it anymore because a lot of your previous relationships gone to shits
Well,
because
they couldn't handle the bodybuilder.
yeah. But obviously I
Yeah,
knew
we're
I
gonna-
was
we-
going
we-
into.
We going there. We
Yeah,
going
Okay.
there. We going
Don't
there.
go too far.
Yeah, sorry.
They're already asking
So
me.
yeah, that's how we met in
Yeah.
the gym.
Good.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, so now how do you balance this personal growth with committed relationship?
I don't know if you do. I don't know if there is such, if it really is balance or just tolerance.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
someone just has to tolerate you. Janicke tolerates quite a lot. And if she wants to be here, she's here. If she didn't want to be here, she wouldn't be. Because I can understand, this is what she was just saying there, with a relationship, a lot of time, if one of you isn't giving enough to it, then it's goodbye.
Yeah.
But that just tells you, is the person about them, or are they about you, or are they about us? And I think Janicke's pretty selfless. She's happy to see someone like myself develop, even at a little bit of an expense of how much energy I put into our relationship. Because obviously I do try to put a lot in, but there is only so much left after doing what you do, I'm not the most, kind of loving person, and I understand that. And I think that's not just because I bodybuild, but it's because also in the past I've kind of felt pain myself in relationships because they haven't worked. So the amount that I give to them is, over the years, been a little bit, not less, but I'm a bit guarded, yes.
Yeah.
And bodybuilding always feels to me like it's my other relationship, and it's one that has never done me wrong.
Yeah.
So I find it very easy to give that energy, whereas I find it a lot harder to give a person energy. I say I do my best, and I try to make our relationship work, and it obviously works to a degree because here we are,
Yeah.
8 years later or whatever, still going. But I have to say it's down to her ability to,
I think it's
put
just
up with me.
accepting that everything. Obviously now it's a job for him. He's a professional and it's his job and he's paying his bills. But everything is on his schedule.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
always when he needs to do something or when he needs to be somewhere. And I think I'm happy being on my own and do my own stuff and be independent. So I would say I appreciate that everything needs to be on your terms, and I get annoyed with it sometimes. But I can adjust. But then again, like I can go and do my own thing, and he does his own thing, and then
And nobody's telling you that you need to do the chicken right now because he's doing.
like I don't cook his food.
Yeah, since day one, I've always been my own creator of my bodybuilding, and I like to keep it that way because I like to always be the person that's in control of that.
Yeah.
Because if you ever find yourself alone again, what I am, I'm in control of. So that's why I've never been someone that's like to my partner, you should prepare my meals for me or help me. She helps me massively.
I do wash his clothes, but I
Yeah.
don't do his
But,
food.
but it's the same with you.
Yeah, I don't lean into her life at all.
Yeah.
Like she's intelligent and has her own, jobs and whatnot. Now, obviously, we work together with something in the gym we'll talk about later.
Yeah.
But yeah, I never ever wanted to step onto her toes because a relationship for me is like I like everyone in a relationship to have their own stuff, and then it's just you collaborate the time that is extra into yourself, each other.
Yeah.
So I like being a person that's accomplishing your own things,
Yeah.
and then you share the reward with someone. And
This is kind of like a key to maintain this healthy relationship.
I think so, because I feel like I've seen a lot of relationships where you end up really, one of you leans on the other one massively, or like their life pulls you in so much that they lose their own life. And I would hate for Janicke to be only about my bodybuilding. I like that she's had her own jobs and her own career and her own ambitions, because you don't want to take from anywhere, you want to give.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Well, that's how it works for us.
yeah, try to.
So what do you think is the biggest challenge you face as a couple, if you have any, of course? Or did you already figure out all
Well, obviously
the
now
system?
we live together, and we have been living together for most of our relationship anyway, but the acceptance of the fact that he needs to be selfish with his time and everything is on his schedule, as much as this upsets me sometimes, but I think that being open about feelings and have good communication, I think that's the key to any relationship, regardless of what you do in life, to communicate.
Yeah.
But it can be a challenge when, for example, for Christmases, we are meant to be in Norway, or I would go home to Norway and see my family for Christmas, and he's obviously meant to come along. But if he started prep, he might go the day before, so I'm not going.
Yeah.
And then I just have to accept that, and that can be really sad sometimes, because I know my family are excited to have him coming over, and then it's almost like we feel like he's missing out, so we feel bad for him. But in his head, he just wanted to bodybuilding, so he's fine. But I think that can be some challenge.
Yeah, and it's hard to put anyone into your own mind space, because I do know that I'm missing out, but also know I'm sacrificing something for a really big goal. But it's very hard to explain to anyone who's never wanted to be the best in the world or something.
Yeah.
Like, and I lose myself sometimes, and sometimes I feel guilty for losing that fire that is wanting to be the best in the world. Sometimes I do succumb to the pleasures of normality, having a normal existence, family stuff, and I do like it, and I think it's very important to have. And I would never recommend anyone ignores those kind of outings and doesn't spend time with people they love, but I also know that you've only got so much time, and it just comes down to what's important to you. And I can't lie to myself. I know that something that's really important to me is to see this done to my maximum ability before I call it a day. So that's why often my decisions are quite selfish, and they're made towards this, because there's just something in me, there's just some little fire in me, this niggle, this poke, that's like, you have to choose bodybuilding at the minute, because you won't have forever to be able to keep choosing that.
Yeah.
So right now you have to, because like in 5 years time from now, if you spent those 5 years always being the nice guy, always being like around for the family and everything, you will miss out on the opportunity of being one of the best in the world. And I can only say that because I know some of the best in the world, and I know what they've done to get there and how they've got there. So yeah, I am selfish, but then it's because it's just really hard to tell someone, you know, if you look on like a scorecard, like I've been at the Olympia twice, I'm in the upper, there's only a few people better on paper, you know, and although it's not super realistic that someone like me could win the Olympia, 10 years ago I didn't think I could even get to an Olympia. So I can't write that fact off. I can't say, well, it's already chosen, I'm not going to be the best, because it would be silly to. And even if I don't ever become the best, but I tried, and when the time comes to walk away, then I'll be content. But I'm not content yet, because I know there's still some time. So that's what determines my decision making sometimes. And that's the hardest part for Janicke, I suppose, because I can't implant my thought process into her head, because it looks strange on the outside that someone would always choose to chase something. But it's just because you have super high ambition.
I think like I am accepting of that, and I think that's why the relationship works, because I do understand it, and it's difficult for me to put words on it as well, but that is part of the challenges that we have as a couple. But it's more in the wider picture, because I come to realise my life is never going to be a normal life like all of my friends have. Like, you know, you have your day job and you buy your house and you have the kids and you have that family
but
car.
in one
like,
way it's exciting.
Yeah, like I don't want that.
You not follow the crowd. So,
and that you saying that not following the crowd, that's always been my driving force. Ever since I was a young boy, I remember like in school being asked, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I had answers that were not typical, stereotypical. I never said I wanted a certain job. I was the kid that would say I want to change the world. Like, so they were like, why are you writing that, not writing like astronaut or the? But I always had this, and bodybuilding back then, because it was so different. You believe you could change the world by being that, because your idols are people like Arnold Schwarzenegger, who did change the world. So I always had this really high expectancy of what can be done through being a good bodybuilder. And it's harder now because the world's different, and to keep that fire is sometimes difficult. But hey, you know, you have to just somehow cling on and
do what you love to do.
Yeah, just do what you love to do, and just try and find doing it in a way that still gives you that joy. You know?
Good.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, sweet.
That was a long answer.
Sorry.
It's good. It covered like 2-3 questions, you know. So then also to you a question, Janicke. So what's the biggest plus positive of having someone like James in your life?
Well, I think James as a person, not necessarily what he does, but James as a person, the way he treats other people and speaks to other people, and just how James is. It's hard to put words on it, but if you know of him or follow him and you know how he is, as cheesy as it sounds, he makes me a better person, because I can be a bit not necessarily show emotions and just go on with my day and do my own goals, but how he is makes me a bit more, I don't know.
I think you start to like.
I'm very like factual.
Yeah, and you can look at someone and I don't know. I always like try to give people their time, and sometimes I'll say to Janicke, like, just slow down, like don't form an opinion yet. Give them a moment to show you who they are, because there's a lot of good in people. And sometimes Janicke can already have not formed an opinion, but because she won't necessarily entertain people much. And I don't know if that's like a cultural thing or not. I don't know. It could be. But yeah, like. Again, it's weird that I'm answering this because it's your question, but I always try to give people enough time to pull out the good. So, because I do believe there's a good to most people, and I've noticed that she now does that more. Whereas in the beginning, she wouldn't tolerate anyone. Like they would try and talk to her, and it'd be like, she would have a guard up.
It could be a cultural thing as well, because obviously Norwegians are very different to British people. And I lived in the UK now for 14 years, and
rubbing off.
I've realised how, even I now think, some of these Norwegians are quite strange, to be honest.
She even just said it today. She was like, they stare. She was like, they stare a lot.
They stare a lot.
She's like, my mum stares a lot. So, okay.
But there is these like small traits that you pick up on.
But you can see that just because you're out of here for a long period of time, like we can see it in our country. You know?
You go back there and you're like, okay, I can see that now.
But no, I kind of forgot the question now. But he helps me become more
open.
I think
he's been more chatty and
you're better with people.
Yeah, like start conversation and actually give people my time and actually have conversation just for the sake of having conversation. But I think it's also part of just growing up, becoming a bit older, travel the world with bodybuilding, not necessarily the bodybuilding for the sport and the competitions and the placements, but the culture that you get to be a part of, because every person that is in this sport have a unique story, because you do have to be a bit mental in the head to be a top bodybuilder. And I think just everything that I get to witness along the way, it's difficult to put words on, but it's a different world, and you get to experience life very differently than to just
and meet all the people which are around it. You know, it's not only the bodybuilders, but
the families. You look at like Nick Walker, you look at the parents, and then you look at siblings of people as well that are like directly. There may be many people that are similar to me, but there's such a variety of people that are there to support them. So you do meet them on your travels, and they even help. Because you just learn to be a certain way, because you pick up things about people that you think are good qualities. And you're like, I wish I was a little bit more like that. And the only way you can wish you could be a bit more like that is by being a bit more like that. So, and I think Janicke's definitely formed some friendships as well through people that we've met through bodybuilding, and they've probably had a similar impact that I have on her in ways that has helped her to be more, I don't know, just a nicer person. Yeah, it sounds weird, but
yeah.
Good.
Sweet. Okay, so then about traveling, do you always have time or can travel with James, or you have problems to sometimes go with him? Or does that bother you, or how do you handle that time when you're not together, when he has to go on?
It's obviously changing now, but like we have since we got together, we had one holiday, and that was the first year we got together. All of our travelling or holidays now are because of shows or commitments, or there's a reason we have to go somewhere because of a sponsor or something. So we treat that I treat that as my holiday, get to travel. I used to work in banking, and I would then take out all my holiday to travel with him for his shows. But now obviously we're trying to run this gym that he just opened. I'm trying to run it, so now obviously being more involved in his world, I'm obviously more flexible and can travel.
She's more flexible, but I also do tell her, don't I?
He was like, you need to be in the gym. I go text her.
I'm like, no, I do need you to be in the gym, because there might be something now like with the gym. I have to put my boss head on. And I'm not trying to be like horrible, but I'm like, if I think something needs to be fixed in the gym, and when I say fixed, just something that with her being present can help improve, then I would suggest that, even if it's at the expense of me travelling without her. because we have to think larger now than just my travel,
Yeah.
because we have a business that needs to be run.
But saying that, I'm the one that plans all of his travels
She
and
plans
does
it.
all of the bookings, the book the flights and all of that.
Janicke is my
So I obviously then try and book everything so it suits me as well.
Yeah.
she gets that one that upper hand.
Sneaky a little bit.
So that
Yeah.
so there is a way you can
Majority of the
Yeah.
time,
Yeah.
I would say like 3/4 of the time she can be there. Unless, and like I said, unless there's something I think needs to be done now back home with the gym, if I really think they would help if Janicke's there, I would enforce. I would not enforce that, but I'll say it
You suggest
and
that.
I'll mean it because
But then I book everything so
Yeah.
it suits me as well. But obviously when he was coming up and trying to turn pro and you did some amateur shows around Europe, you didn't want me there.
No,
The
because I
pressure
felt
of
like,
it. So
yeah,
you
I
went
think
with
like,
your mates. So I haven't
Yeah.
always been to his shows.
I find when I have like my partner at shows, sometimes I feel the pressure more than if I have friends there. Friends make it feel like it's like a fun event because I'm like having a laugh, and that always keeps me calm. Whereas when I'm with Janicke at an event, it sometimes feels very, very serious. Like there's a lot of these high stakes.
But then it also goes
So
to
kind of feel like you don't want to disappoint her.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
and also don't want to. In my mind, I'm like subconsciously, I'm thinking, is she okay? Like, is she having a good time? Is she bored? Is she got enough food?
Yeah.
Is she, everything.
Yeah.
Whereas
But
I
then
know,
it shows that he actually do care about me.
yeah. Whereas I know if she's at home, I know she has.
good.
She has everything she needs. So yeah, I'm kind of like more down with the traveling with friends for competitions. I do love to have her there, obviously, because if I win or do well, then you obviously want to spend it with your partner. But yeah, that's something I'm still trying to kind of
learn.
learn myself, how to have the best of both. You look at someone like Samson who wouldn't have Mel anywhere other than with him for a show, and I rate him for that. I rate him how he manages that, because I just feel a lot of pressure when I do that.
I think we're still learning. I've been to all of the last
You
two
learn,
shows
you
we've
learn,
done.
you learn till the day you die. You
Yeah.
never stop learning.
So actually, that question was super good.
Yeah, makes
Good
sense.
answer for probably for both of you. So you learn a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
that's good. Cool.
Cool. So now a little bit more to James. Okay. More like, I hope, we see quick questions, quick answer. So, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Because you mentioned that in 5 years you don't know what's gonna be. So, do you have some sort of picture of that?
Because it's like there's two sides to this, isn't it? There's where do you really see yourself, and then there's also like where do you want to see yourself. And you kind of got to cling on to that where do you want to see yourself in order to make it happen. Because I could see myself somewhere if I just look at it from like a logical standpoint, but then I want to break logic because I want to be successful.
Yeah.
So in my mind, when I say the second answer, which is let's aim high, I want to have had won an Arnold Classic, and I want my gym to be doing really well, and I want to have time then basically to be able to travel and just spread the word of the things I love about bodybuilding and do things like we're doing this weekend on a scale, so that I'm involved heavily in it still, and not necessarily competing anymore, but just I suppose just spreading the word and creating a positive environment for people that want to follow this right path. And it will be much better if I had an Arnold Classic victory under my belt as well, and one of those, because I was at Branch's house for for his birthday. Actually, we had dinner at his house, and he let me feel the trophies, and obviously he's got 2 Arnold Classic trophies there. So he said to me that you'll have one day, so feel it. So I picked it up and felt it, and I don't really want to let him down, so I have to make that a reality. Even if it's one, if I won 1 Arnold Classic, I could retire. Put it that way. That's how I feel about that. So aim high.
Yeah. Or maybe it will make you more hungry.
Dude, I have to have something. It has to be a carrot. That's the aim. So, yeah, 5 years from now, potentially have maybe a kid or two if things work out. But have time to be a good parent, because I've done enough in order to make that a possibility. Because I don't want to be a parent that's not there and present. Because my dad wasn't present, so I don't want to repeat the history of, you break the cycles essentially.
Yeah, learn the lesson.
Yes.
Yeah, cool. So what is your proudest accomplishment till now?
Oh man, it's weird because I'm not really a proud person. Like, I never really feel accomplished. So even though I've done more than I expected, for some reason I'm still so hungry to do more. And I don't know if that's just because of pressure of like, I care about what people think of me. Like, it'd be a lie to say I don't want to be respected. Like, I want to be one of the best at what I do, otherwise I wouldn't do it. So I don't know, it feels like I haven't done enough to have that respect yet. So it's very hard to look at any of my achievements like, am I proud of them? People say it to me all the time, they're like, you've done really well so far. Or like, they say you've done enough, some people, but for me it just isn't.
But I don't think you would realise what you accomplished in bodybuilding until you retired.
Yeah, I feel like
you look back on it.
So like, if I say something, actually, the answer would probably be not anything to do with my bodybuilding. It would probably be when I climbed Kilimanjaro, the mountain, because it was something that was just not what I'm built for, not what I'm programmed to do, and I made it happen despite that. And it was really important for me to do it because that was at a time in my life where I was a little bit like lost in knowing what I want, and because I'd done that and I felt whatever I felt from that, it let me know where I need to go. So I don't know, that was more emotional for me than anything in my bodybuilding. I remember getting to the top of that and looking at the skyline and like breaking down in tears because it was unexpected that I'd be able to do it because it was a challenge. And I don't know, it was weird. I didn't realise how it made me feel till I got to the top and saw the sunrise. Very emotional. So yeah, nothing's made me feel like that. You know, I've won shows as a pro, but I never cry. I'm just happy. I'm like, oh sweet, I got an Olympia qualification. But yeah, the climbing of Kilimanjaro, I think, taught me more than my bodybuilding has taught me. Because it taught me that if I was to walk in a different path, I'm capable. Yeah. You know, as good as I am maybe at bodybuilding, it made me realise that, you know, when I do finally call it a day with this, that I'm not starting from ground zero. I can do other things. So yeah, if that makes sense.
Yes, it does. It does. Kind of leads to another question. It's like, what habits do you have to take care of your mental health? You know,
still learning. It's a tough one. Sometimes I really struggle. Because what we have to understand and we have to be honest about is, like, obviously with bodybuilding, there's a lot of things involved that affect your emotions. Yeah. The events itself, but then also, you know, the supplements. And I think people really they're undereducated on how much they can affect you, and they undereducate others on that. Like, no one wants to admit that you can go from feeling on top of the world to feeling pretty much like suicidal within a few weeks because of something you're taking. And I kind of felt that this year. I had a off season that made me feel awful, just from pushing the food, working really hard, the pressure of wanting to be really good, but then also the icing on the cake is obviously what you put in your body. And I was on the edge. I knew it and I could feel it, luckily, because I'm aware of, because I've been bodybuilding for a long time, I can feel external influence, so I can identify it, so I can know not to act on it. But I feel sorry for people that are like younger and then they start doing bodybuilding and they jump too quick into things and they get a massive emotional dip and they don't know why, because they're not educated. And then they think that life's really hard or something's going on, when really
they just don't understand.
They just don't understand that this is affecting their hormones. So obviously, because I can identify it, it doesn't matter. I said to Janicke last year when I was training, I was in the gym and my brain was playing games with me, and I could see it. It was like, it sounds really depressing, but my brain was like, oh, where could I hang myself in here? It was really bad. Like, and I could feel it. I was like, oh shit. Like, and I told my friend, like Jordan and Janicke, I could tell them straight away. I said, man, I'm feeling like this. Imagine if you didn't have that experience and you feel that. You just think your life's bad. And that's the problem. Like, I see it a lot now, and I'm like, no one's life's that bad. It's just, you have to understand that if you're going to walk into bodybuilding and some of the things you're going to do and take, they're going to make you feel pretty bad. So that's why I always really try to encourage people to understand what this entails. Get someone good behind you who can coach you and tell you what's right for you and what's wrong for you, because a lot of this stuff can be done through blood work. Like someone who's really smart can look at bloods and know what you should and shouldn't take. So I'm obviously with Stefan now. Stefan had a look at my bloods for me after my shows, and he's like, okay, well, I know from this that you shouldn't be doing this, this or this, which is not help I previously had. So it is there to be had. There is help to be had. So I'm not saying bodybuilding's bad at all. I love bodybuilding. This is why we're here. Just be cautious and be mindful and hire the right people and get some help. Especially now, you have. There's a lot of knowledge information. There's way more than like I had.
Too much information now.
No, but it is there if you look in the right place. So just don't listen to the first person.
Yeah.
Take your time. It's like anything. You wouldn't buy the first house you see on
Just
sale.
learn, like with everything.
Yes,
You know?
yes. So
Learn, but from the proper.
direction, the right people.
sources.
Yeah.
So yeah, like again, I know I've rambled kind of on.
But that I call bodybuilding today, like one, you have to go into bodybuilding for the right reasons because you want to do it for yourself and live the lifestyle and do it for the right reasons. But bodybuilding today, on James's level, is more mental than it is physical. Because
The physical you've been doing for years, it's the mental that gets worn
going
out.
to the gym and lifting weights, he will do that regardless of what happens in life.
And whatever
That's
state
in
this is
him.
in.
But to prep for a pro show, there's an Olympia qualification on the line. Your sponsors and everyone is obviously behind you because of you are who you are. And there's a lot of external pressure that needs to be dealt with, and it's all just in your own head. So getting ready for these shows at this level is more a mental game than it is physical.
Yeah, and
Because
also,
you know how to diet, but your body is obviously fighting itself.
Yeah.
but
you
there's
are pushing
also
yourself.
also more noise now. And I was saying this earlier to like AJ. You know, a lot of these like podcasts and so-called journalists and stuff. They're very quick. They're your supporter one day, and then the next day they will shit on you. You have one bad showing, and then they talk about you like you should retire. And I've seen it with people that are really close to me talk about people that used to be their friends, podcasts and stuff. And I just see how fickle people are, and it's just not necessarily that a nice environment, that part. So I don't know. Culturally, there's just people now that are just like, there's culture vultures. They come into the bodybuilding to take what they can but not give back. I'm all for like just pointing out everyone's strengths. You know, yeah, you can highlight some of their weaknesses, but you can also, at the same time as mentioning someone's weakness, you can also lift them up by telling them what they're already doing good as well. And I feel like that's the best kind of approach. Again, I know I've rambled because where did we even
These
start?
were meant to be like quick
Yeah, it's just because
that's good. But then also how
Yeah.
you find yourself when James it's in very low points.
Yeah.
How you deal with it? What do you do
Yeah.
for him or even for yourself? You know, to
yeah.
maintain a good line.
You always
I think-
you always lend your ear, don't you? You never knock and then listen. Like whenever I'm
Yeah.
struck, I reach out.
Always listen. And I think if you are mentally in a bad place, I think coming off social media for a bit
Definitely worth
is
it.
very wise thing to do. Even if you're not in bodybuilding, if you're just a normal teenager, come off social media because that's not real life, and make sure you actually have a circle of people around you that are there for the right reason and can listen to you and you can have sound conversations with. Like you can have one best friend. You don't need 20 friends. You need that one person that you can call and can like raise your spirit. when you
I'll
are
also
low.
say this: like one of the things that always feels best and resets me is when I spend time in a room with people like this.
Yeah.
When I'm actually physically around people and not my conversations and my communication isn't just on this.
Yeah.
Because everything's mistranslated or everything just feels different on that. When you're in a room with people, you actually have a genuine conversation. And
You feel also the emotion. You
yeah,
see the
it's
emotion,
far easier
you know.
to reset.
Yeah.
So that's always been something I do to stay positive. Is that I understand the value of good friends, and a little bit of time with those often can wash away a lot of the negative.
It goes back to what we said on earlier questions, communication.
Yeah.
To converse with people, have
Really
conversations.
I think it's
That's
because
so
today it's a
important.
skill that's kind of died a little bit because everyone spends so much time on there.
Yeah.
So I think all humans, the whole world, what I'm just talking about now, what I'm feeling, with that like kind of feeling of like sadness, that's not because of bodybuilding, that's global because of the times. So my advice to everybody, and I do feel like this is advice, is to put some time aside to be around people that you have a good conversation with, and do that as often as you can because it will level out what that takes from you.
Yeah. I even said to my sister yesterday, put a timer.
Yeah,
How
just
much
only do an hour a day and
have,
then you like
know,
top
because
split
you know,
up.
she needs
Yeah.
to focus on painting and school and
Yeah.
do a timer. You know, so then
sure.
you can focus.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's funny because like every time I've done a podcast or talked to people, I do realise that majority of what we're talking about, it isn't bodybuilding specific. It's mankind specific, which is why I don't mind talking about it over and over again because I think people on the outside of this should listen to.
Yeah.
So the more you can kind of talk about this stuff, I think everybody benefits.
Exactly. Exactly.
Isn't just we're not here to talk about chicken and rice. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Cool. So it says we have a spiritual mental thing. Good question. What is your spiritual animal?
get to a speed, I'm quite fast. Pretty bulky, and I like eating. But yeah, no, I don't know, because I'm soft and I'm kind. So I'm not, I'm not a tiger, I'm not a lion, I'm not a wolf. A lot of people are like, yeah, I kill it every day. Like, maybe when I was younger, that was my mentality, because I was a lot more ferocious. But growing older, I don't know, just more compassionate. So, hippo.
Cool. Okay.
They're deadly when they need to be.
Sweet. So, what's an unusual skill or talent you wish you had?
You wish you had.
I wish I could sing.
You can't.
No, you can't.
Singing is such a. Singing just. I appreciate a good voice. And when I hear one, it is very mesmerising. It does take your attention, and it is something that can light up a room, can't it? You hear someone with a good voice around you, like, you can be in the worst mood, but it'll make you feel good. So the power of like voice and singing and music in general is like, if you can make music even, and so I suppose it's more broad than that. If you can just make good music, whether that be you singing or play an instrument, that brings a lot of good energy to a room. And I wish I could play an instrument or at least sing. One of the two would be great. If you could do both, you're killing it.
Yeah.
Ed Sheeran,
Janicke.
Yeah.
And you?
I don't know.
You complete.
No, I'm not complete at all. There's a lot of things I can't do, but I have a mindset that I'd rather try and do something, regardless what it is, and then at least I can say I tried. There isn't anything I would think of, I wish I was good in that, I don't know, I haven't really thought about that.
She's got a few skills already. I think she can sew really well.
But
She can do things that you don't
I do
expect.
like creating things, but then again, like if I don't know, like when we got our house, we needed to do some tiling. So I was like, I'm just going to learn how to tile.
No.
Janicke's quite logical, so if
what's
there's
the worst
something
that
she
can
fancies
happen?
doing, if there's even on her mind, she probably will give it a go herself, which is quite a nice attribute.
Yeah.
Whereas I'll be like fearful of trying it, so I'll be like, no, fuck that.
No.
Yeah. So I can't think of something
She's-
I wish I was good
Janicke's
at.
so logical, like you pose a question like that and she just doesn't really even go there with it.
Yeah.
It's weird,
Yeah.
it's like, that's the difference between us.
Yeah, my brain
I'm
is not like that
fantastical.
open.
Yeah,
She's
she's very like matter of fact.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you express a question like that for her, you won't really see her eyes light up and go, oh, what can I do?
What can I do?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the
Realistic,
difference.
this.
I just
Okay.
think-
Whereas you'll get me thinking all fucking day.
Yeah.
But then that's, growing up playing video games and being all like, oi, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
No.
Okay.
But I think it's more women's. They think more like this way.
Yeah, it probably is that.
Yeah,
Because again, I can only speak for
Because
myself.
let's say you want to have a new kitchen, yeah. So me as a man, I would say, yeah, just fuck it. Let's have someone here and they're gonna do it. And my wife said, no, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
This is exactly
I'm
what
gonna
it is.
do it, and I'm gonna sit in front of the computer.
Learn exactly how to
And I'm gonna learn. And for me, it's just like no. But I really, really, really respect that
Same.
how she's doing it,
Yeah.
because for me that's a kind of maybe not a little bit waste of time, because I don't have patience for it.
Yeah.
But I really respect that someone can sit like my wife
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
what
Willing
you're
to, like,
saying,
yeah.
and it's like wow. And after a while, when you finished, you say like you're sitting and you say like, wow.
Yeah.
No.
Every time, that's like whenever
Yeah.
she's taking up these little hobbies like crochet or she creates something, and I'm like, so I think, like, they're far more like, I'll actually attack it.
Yeah.
Whereas we're like, because we know we're never going to attack it, we can have that fantastical I wish.
Yeah.
Oh, I wish. Because we're never going to try. Whereas they don't say I wish, they say I do.
Yeah.
We will.
Try.
So I suppose if she did have anything she wanted to do, she'd just do it.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Good.
Yeah.
Sweet. Yes. Next one. If you had attention of the whole world for 5 minutes, what would you say?
That's a good question. Oh, so hard one to hit on the spot, but it'll probably be something along the lines of just like the be compassionate spiel that I always do. Just give everyone a moment to understand him, I suppose. But I'm not naive. Like, there is a lot of evil in the world as well. There is a lot of bad,
Yeah.
and you almost wish that in that answer you could say, "Let's get rid of the bad." But then it's like, if you can only say one thing in that time, what's more important? Focusing on the good or trying to target the bad? I don't know. That's just how my head works. I know this probably sounds like nonsense to you guys.
No.
But like as I've gotten older, as I say, it's this compassion thing becomes really important, and I think that's just come from understanding like mortality and how like no one's here forever, and I'm the guy that if I see someone with like a disability or something, I always wish to give them more time because I feel like they should feel normal among the group. I grew up with my best friend's brother had a condition called spina bifida, so I was like always found it really normal to be around like someone who was in a wheelchair. So I never thought anything of it, and I've tried to like carry that into adult life. Like he never felt awkward in the room because we never treated him any different because we didn't know any different. So I don't know if I could sort of say something like that along the lines of just like treat everybody equally. You know, like give everyone a moment. Not everyone's going to be able, not everyone physically can stand up and kick a football, but it doesn't mean they're less of a man or a woman. Like they have other skills and other attributes. So yeah, that's probably what I'd do and say.
Oh, kind of along the same lines of be kind and treat everyone with respect. Everyone's a human. And be nice and communicate.
Yeah, take time. I think take time. If you tell
not,
them to
slow down a little bit.
I think be a little bit more understanding in the street, you know?
Yeah.
When you see someone, people that are judging, oh yeah, this, but you don't know.
No.
You know?
So everyone has their own battles or lives, and everyone has 24 hours in a day. Obviously,
be more
socially, just
empathy.
Empathy is so empathy.
Treat everyone with respect.
Empathy is such an important thing. But the only thing I will say about empathy is when you have strong empathy, it can actually make you feel quite sad because you sometimes you almost absorb a little bit of the pain you see people in. For me personally, like if I see someone who's in a debilitating condition or something, I almost like let it get into me, and then I feel kind of like tired because there's just this level of compassion. Because you almost want to feel a little bit of their pain to understand them. That sounds a bit strange, but that's kind of like how my brain kind of works. It's like you almost want to take some of that weight off them and take it from them and relieve them of some of it. But then in the process of doing that, you end up feeling quite sad, especially if you're continuously doing that.
It's like you can't feel guilty.
Can't save the world sometimes, but that's why. I always feel like with art, again, this is weird, but like I need to do something after my career that's more giving back. And a lot of people are like, oh, you give back with bodybuilding because you're giving back, you're helping people. I know that to a degree, but there has to be something more. My life after this, there has to be something more where I can physically see a change happening for people. Something that I do that physically helps a lot of people. It has to be done. So that's why I always answer the questions in the same kind of way, because I think my life's ambition is to somehow uplift some people that are having troubles. And I'm not saying it's just because of the fucking camera. It's not that at all. It's because I find a lot more joy personally when I've helped someone. We had a gentleman pop in here earlier just to come and buy a pair of shorts and whatnot. Like shaking a hand with someone like that and taking a moment to have a conversation always leaves me feeling better. And it's not because I've got something necessary from it, it's because I know they have. And that's just like, I live by that. I feel like that's the most important thing. And sometimes I'm too charitable for it as well. Like I've made some mistakes in the past. Perhaps, given someone some money or bought something for someone when really I shouldn't. But I wouldn't change it.
But that's life lessons, that brings you very far,
And I wouldn't change it. Because, if I have done something for someone and then they've perhaps shown me that their character doesn't really deserving of it, you learn. And again, I've been who I feel I need to be. And a lot of this comes in still from my mother, who passed away a few years ago. I'm more compassionate now and I'm more empathetic now since she passed away. Because I feel like I've got to almost do it for her and me now. Because she's no longer here to be that person. So it's really, that kind of affected me heavily on that. Cool. I know I do talk a lot, so.
No,
I enjoy being in on that conversation.
That's why we're here,
But then 5 quick questions. So like, let's say you're gonna have like 3 seconds just to answer.
Yeah, like quick fire round.
Quick. No, maybe the last one you can take 10 seconds. To think about. Yeah. So if you could instantly master any language, which would it be? One.
Japanese.
Yeah.
I have to say Norwegian, don't I? Because I need to.
Yeah. The right answer.
I would like Japanese as well.
Yeah. I would do Chinese.
Chinese.
Yeah, because
it's very well articulated spoken.
They're gonna
take over the world soon.
They're gonna take over.
Okay. Please don't kill me.
Favorite song.
Favorite song.
Oh, you first.
I like Ordinary World by Duran Duran. It's a great song.
1, 2, 3.
You have to say something, come on. It's quick fire for a reason.
I know.
Pick a song.
I don't know names of songs. I know like a little bit
You
of
can
them.
sing.
I can't sing. I wouldn't say I have a favourite song. I'm a really boring.
You love Eminem.
I'm a really boring person.
Yeah, I was thinking about
She
the
loves
same.
I do
Eminem.
like
So you
Eminem.
can pick any song off the Eminem album,
Or-
Eminem show. You love it all. You like White America. You like freaking.
Yeah, I do like
Business.
Mockingbird. Yeah, I'll say Eminem.
Mockingbird. It's a good song. It's a nice song.
Favorite movie?
Fried
Probably-
green tomatoes.
She likes Fried Green Tomatoes, which is strange.
It's very different.
Probably Terminator 2. It's great. Can't beat that.
Favorite cuisine?
Indian.
Italian.
Italian.
No on bread, bro. You can't have it.
Can't have
That's
it.
why. That's
Can't
why.
have it.
Okay, and last question. What advice you will give to 21-year-old self?
It's going to sound cheesy, but I don't think there is any advice I could give, and I think everything I did, for me personally, was correct because I've done more than I expected, and I'm happy to say that.
Yeah.
Which, because a lot of people probably wouldn't be happy to say that, but
Yeah.
I don't think I'd ever been on the Arnold stage or the Olympia stage unless I did everything exactly how I did. I think if I did anything slightly different, I might not have even got this far. So you did all right. You made some
Yeah.
mistakes, but they were the right ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't give an advice because I'd like to do something different, but yeah, be curious and explore and
Yeah.
don't be comfortable. Go and be
I
uncomfortable.
think we can all be braver.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think we do lack fearsome and scared. It's like you, when I spoke to you earlier, that was actually really eye-opening how you just made those steps. I've always been someone that's a little bit scared to do something that's out of my comfort. And I wish perhaps then, if I was to say something, it would be that
Yeah.
sometimes the risks lead to the best rewards, man.
Yeah.
Play
Go
it safe.
abroad, experience new culture,
Yeah,
new
when you
country.
feel the
and-
fear, just
yeah.
jump.
Yeah, that's something I've
I need to
definitely
get
done.
you out of
because-
the UK.
Because the more people you also listen on the back, everybody gonna say, "Oh, just cool down, just
Yeah,
do this."
yeah.
But you need to
You
jump.
Find out for
do it,
yourself.
yeah.
Yeah, you need to jump.
Yeah.
You know?
There has been a few times in my life where I almost made decisions, and I do wonder how it would have played out. There was one time when I was with Redcom 1 and I was doing my paperwork to move to America. I was actually doing it. And then there was a conversation I had with Michael about moving to America. And there's a couple of times it's happened now where I've had these opportunities with America, but then something just stopped me. But I would be interested to imagine if a few years ago I was in America, and would anything have different? Because I look at other bodybuilders like my friends and guys like Brett Wilkins and that, and they're all like forming these really great circles, and they're all doing really well. Sometimes I wonder if I was like in those circles, how would it have been? Would it have been right? Would it have been wrong? Who knows? So.
But then you are carrying the torch for British bodybuilding.
And that's another reason I don't leave England, because in my head I'm like, well, if I leave here, then I've deserted
Yeah.
all of these people
Yeah.
who need something to like look up to show them the way. You know, and I'm not Mr. Olympia, but I'm like an averagely genetic guy who's just really persistent and consistent. So all the guys that feel the similar in themselves, that know they're not necessarily Samson Duada, they still feel like they can go a long way because of work.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Yeah, that was again an extended answer, but
Stay in Europe.
yeah, and I do appreciate Europe. Like I like coming over to Europe, and obviously I've signed with ESN, which kind of it's nice because it feels like I've got this nice excuse to go around Europe now.
But it's kind of in States it's always like, oh yeah, everybody look on them. But actually now
Draw their eye to us.
Now
Make-
you
make
can
them-
you can say, we have our own guys
Yeah.
here,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
let's play a little
Yeah.
bit in American stages,
Yeah.
like on a stage.
Yeah.
So and we're gonna see. It's nice to have this
I did feel
value,
like
this big value you guys are
yeah.
putting in Europe. You know?
During my time with Patrick coaching me, it definitely felt quite cool because it did feel like we were pulling their attention to our way, and I quite liked it because it was like, yeah, everyone goes on about America being the place. How about you watch what we do?
Yeah.
Because that was obviously a highlight of my career, was those times as well. So yeah, maybe just keep doing what we're doing and try and earn that respect, innit, I suppose.
Yeah.
That's good.
Sweet.
Yeah.
I think that's all.
Yeah.
So I hope you guys enjoyed. I know there was a lot of
Definitely.
James Hollinshead does like to ramble, but
No, it's
I only talk a lot to people that I enjoy talking to.
yeah. No, it's good. It's like this is first time for us doing these things, and they could never go smoother.
For sure.
It's nice. So I think we kind of feel each other, and we adult smart people. So
Appreciate it.
it's a good to have these conversations. I think we're gonna continue that.
Absolutely.
After that, but we are really appreciate, and we are really happy that the first episode went with you guys, because it went really smooth.
Thank you.
Just because I think we know a little
Well,
bit
we
each other.
already have
So,
a familiarity, don't we?
So it's good. We are really appreciate it.
Thank you. Honestly,
Thank
brilliant.
you for having us.
Great
Yeah.
time, honestly. So, yeah, guys need to. I don't know if we are recording still, you should probably stay on, but they need to. You're going to be putting this on YouTube,
Yes.
so they need to click subscribe.
Yeah.
They need to ring the bell for notifications, comment below,
Yeah.
and share.
And share, and come by to Machine House in Oslo if you're
Absolutely.
around.
Come get a coffee,
Yeah.
Come and
get some GASP gear,
Have
get some
conversations.
supplements.
Yeah. And have a
And
conversation.
yeah, that's the
Put
most
your phone
important part.
away.
And if you
Have
have
that
any mental
conversation.
problems and you just want to talk with someone, we're here. Come by. We're gonna help you as much as we can
Absolutely,
through bodybuilding and through being a good human.
absolutely. That's the message, guys.
Yeah.
Thanks for watching. Appreciate it.
Yay!
Yay.